Hey friends, Dr. Jeffrey Clark here. Got a lot of thoughts rolling in my head. I just wanted to pull out the camera, see if I could share some of them with you. So, as children, we have a paradigm set via our authority figures, typically mother, father, teachers, preachers, people like that. They tell us what to think, how to think it, not necessarily why to think it, but we're given this programming, and we go through life believing that, and that early zero, conception to age 5 area where that programming is really hardwired in our subconscious, and sometimes that messes us up, and that's where I do my one-on-one coaching, working with people toward success, toward eliminating stress, eliminating anxiety, moving forward in life, having more of what we want. And I also work with people as a wellness doctor of what we call biohacking. And biohacking is just a term that's thrown around via social media. People like other trainers, fitness people, nutritionists, where we change our nutrition, we change our level of fitness, we work on our emotional fitness, we think in different terms. So we think of success and positivity, positive achievement, instead of dwelling on negativity, worry, fear, things like that. So that's a term, biohacking. But now biohacking has taken a completely nefarious turn, possibly for the worst. Now, I have said in many recordings and writings for probably 20 years or more, and I learned this from Wayne Dyer, that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. I think actually the original quote was by Teilhard de Chardin back like 1993. But we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So think of that. We have our humanity, but we are not humans having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having that human experience, that life, all the suffering, all the good, all the joy, all the ecstasy, all the pain, all the agony. We go through that as humans, and that's part of who we are. Well, now we have a new form of biohacking where we're actually working to change humanity via some of the technologies. I think it's been over 20 years since the Human Genome Project was completed. They've mapped out all the genes in the human body, all our DNA, what they do, and we can go in and genetically make changes. So in some ways that might be good. Let's say you have a child in utero and you know that there is something that's not compatible with human life. They're going to pass away before birth or shortly thereafter, or just not make it to adulthood thriving. Well, if you could go in and genetically manipulate a few genes so that erased that genetic defect, would that be something we should do? And that brings us to bioethics. But we now have this increase in technology, and bear in mind, I'm in the United States. Most of my listeners are in the United States. We have many in Canada, several in Europe, but kind of the Western world. Well, there's places, China, etc., where they can do things that maybe aren't as legal, and certainly they don't have to worry about some of the ethical considerations when they're doing some of these experiments. But we have artificial intelligence, and I'm not talking about Chat GPT and things that you can get on your smartphone. I'm talking about hardcore artificial intelligence where they're really mapping out the human brain. We have nanobots, those little tiny things that get into the body and start making changes and repairs. And of course, there's that fear that they're putting that in vaccines. There's that fear that they're spraying that over us with their chemtrails. And then the 5G, is that activating things? There's all kinds of conspiracy theories. But you know what? Some of those might be true. And then we have people from, 150 years ago, Friedrich Nietzsche, when he proposed that God is dead and that we can create a super race, a species of overhumans. And we're coming to that scientifically. So that bears, what can we do ethically to change that? And so I'm just opening this up for your discussion, your thoughts. I would love to hear from you. These things roll around my head. I'd love to be just sitting down over a drink or something and sharing that with you live. But here we are on video. So let me know your thoughts on bioethics, on changing the human genome, on life extension artificially, and where that sits in the grand scheme of things. How does that mess us up as spiritual beings having a human experience? And when they're trying to create humans that live forever, humans that become gods? Just curious.